So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Divine Madness, the YouTube channel, the YouTube book club channel. Hi. Welcome back to Divine Madness, the YouTube book club channel. I'm Shelly. My name is Shelly Mitchell and I'm the author of Divine Madness. I am happy to be here. This is quite a stretch trying to do these videos. Destiny is not with me. She's working on her very own project. And still we are separated due to social distancing orders. So I'm here on my own and this is my studio. I've done my own makeup and I've dressed myself. I am my wardrobe designer. I'm procrastinating. We're moving into the section of the book that I do not like. I'm trying to take it very lighthearted. I hate this section. This chapter is death. It is where we're going through the perils of decisions and choices that I've made in my life, but I'm able to see how I made those decisions and those choices based on my past. And so death is an analogy of not a physical death, but the presence of death, darkness, and how through generational curses that death mindset followed me, and how through past experiences I was able, I made choices that weren't necessarily prosperous to the life that I really wanted. I thought that I was exhibiting a sense of self-control, but it turns out that my self-control was really my self-control and not allowing the Lord to control my steps. And again, those things and those decisions and that self-control was based on a spirit of darkness and death that concentrated itself within me, and thereby as a sense of oppression, thereby influenced my decision making and made me think that I had self-control and made me think that I was making good choices because I wasn't able to really clearly see. I had just given my life to Christ at this time, and it was perilous because I was reading the word but really not mature enough in the presence and in the knowledge of Holy Spirit to see where I was making compromises, severe compromises. And this chapter allows, and I hope that the reader is able to see through Sonia, that when she's about to make a decision, even when I read it, I'm going, oh, don't do that, don't do that. And I want to go, what were you thinking? And I hope that the reader is able to have a sense of grace and mercy, but that it also provokes the reader to think about the decisions that she or he has made. And in this chapter too, there is something very, very good about this chapter, that it forces Sonia to come to truth about some things that she had deep-seated, that she had buried, and she just forgot that they existed. It was that death. She was the Walking Dead. I love that show. She was, because of things that had happened, experiences with molestation, incest, and even though those terms are yucko, they didn't apply to her, but something happened, but it was all in the back of her mind and deep in her heart and in her soul, and it just spewed out in various ways and in various places that were, if you were a mom, you wouldn't want to think your daughter, your child is doing that. I say that as a parent, and not to judge my parents or anything, but just a moment, it's just like sometimes when you're a parent, you really just want to put a rope around them, around their ankles, and hold them in. to avert the foolish decisions that they're making and protect them from the world, and we can't. And unfortunately, fortunately, I exposed myself in those areas through this chapter. And as a woman, and as a writer, as the person who participated and experienced those things and said those things and did those things, it's hurtful. But man, I promise, God was there. You can see where Holy Spirit was always present and enveloped in the aura of life that was hers to claim, is yours to claim. I like when things happen because you get to see how you've caught up with God. You know, you're like, oh, he was there. There was a very good part in this chapter that is good because it forced to heal. And it forced to face some things that were just not okay. It forced her to. But the forcing antagonized another level of pain and determination. But because she was not completely healed and obedient to Holy Spirit, she still made the same choice. Running. Have you been there? It's good to know that you don't experience these things by yourself. There is a lot of shame and pride and condemnation and degradation and running in darkness and oppression and uncertainty in this chapter. But I assure you again, and even in your life, through the troubling times that we face and the trials that we face and the hard times and the difficulties, that Holy Spirit is there. If we just take a moment and breathe in the effervescence and just the purity of life and look up at the sky and see as far as our eyes can see, God is there. It's in the simplicities. And we make things, because of our hurt and pain, we make it complex. Selfish people, we're born selfish. And it takes courage to love. And part of loving is forgiving and facing the truth and still having the courage to forgive. The reflection of it all in this chapter, and having to read it because I'm started this channel. I want to do this channel and just skip through this chapter, but it makes no sense to do this channel to skip through the chapter, because the chapter is the healing, the chapter is the reflection, the chapter is God. You can't skip through a phase of your life, because then you skip through God. God is in the pauses and all of the tedious and simplistic and the minutiae that we just want to say, oh. But if you take a moment and breathe and look and dare to see on the other side and dare to walk over the bridge, it's God. It's God. And I encourage you today to just take a moment to reflect on that hard time. It's okay. It's not okay. It's going to hurt. But reflect on that moment of things said that can't be unsaid, things that were done that can't be undone, marks and scars on your body, wounds on your mind and your heart. And maybe if you flip it from the other side and look at the other person, maybe you can extend some grace and some mercy. But I assure you, this is a good time to open up, and to open up without fear. It's gonna hurt, yeah. But when you open up, it allows the Holy Spirit to create in you a clean heart and to renew the right mind in you, and to break off the shame and the pride and the self-condemnation and the isolation. Just open up. And you don't have to open up in front of everybody. Open up on your own and allow the tears to flow. God captures those tears, and they become a refreshing. They become a refreshing to your soul and to your spirit. And then you become more courageous to not tell everybody, but certainly to tell somebody about what you have been carrying and the pain that it caused you. And then you can get a hug, and the healing just goes on and on and on, because the pain is so deep that when you begin to open up, you begin to pull off all of that dirt, and you begin to pull up all of that oppression. You begin to let go of the weight, and you begin to free yourself from the burden. You begin to let go of the shame, and you begin to be able to smile, and you begin to walk more freely, and you begin to smile, and you open yourself up, not just for the healing, but for love and friendship and kindness. Sometimes you just have to do it afraid and get up and put your boots on, because you're going to walk through a lot of a lot of fertilizer, manure. I'll say that for my audience, but in my head I said something else. You get it. So I'm going to take a moment, and I'm just going to give myself some therapy. You can come on into my therapy session, and I'm just going to take a moment to relax. I just remembered. What are you doing with your gift? What are you doing with your gift? You have value. To come to self-fulfillment, you have to work your gift. Get to it. You can do it.